Hello and welcome to Kit Guru. Christina here, and we will be looking at the roaring success of the gaming chair by Cougar, the Armour S Royal. This chair has a price of $244.99 at the time of this video. Hit that sub bell and like button though to make sure that we can keep bringing you the info and honest reviews you need to help you make that buying decision. When getting everything out of the box, I realised that Cougar had made a real effort to add extra packaging to ensure nothing is damaged in transit, which is really appreciated. When diving into the box and taking out the backrest and the seat, they felt pretty light, and it's probably because the whole thing isn't actually that heavy, weighing in at 21 kilograms in total when built, which I think is pretty light. When I removed the base of the seat, it was nice to see that the armrests were already attached, but I will come back to this in a second. After removing all the components, it's time for the manual. The manual was small, but thankfully big enough for me to read comfortably. The manual doesn't specify a certain amount of people recommended to build this chair either, but in typical Kit Guru fashion, I'm going to give it a go by myself. Unfortunately, the bolts weren't labelled, so it took me a second to kind of work out what ones were in the picture and what the manual was talking about. Also, the bolts and tools were in a blister pack. This took me a good 5 minutes to get everything out of, as the card kind of kept ripping as I tried to peel it back, so I had to get a knife and pry open each individual section. Slightly annoying. The tools and screws are all of really good quality though, and the L-shaped Allen/screwdriver was a really good idea, as it really helps you get force behind your action. Unlike other chairs, the first thing it asked me to do is attach the backrest to the seat, which is unusual because I find that usually this is the last step when building a chair, but went along with it anyway. Whilst attaching the backrest to the chair, I had an issue with one of the backrest screws. It was so hard I had to ask for help to get it in. The thread was hard to find, and once you did find the thread, it took quite a lot of force really to get that going. Once it did get going though, it went in well the rest of the way, and it was fine with little to no effort, but that beginning bit was a little bit difficult. Now, I know it's a common issue for the odd screw to be kind of misthreaded, but you know, due to millions being made in the factory, I'm not going to really mark it down significantly for this, but it was really quite frustrating. Next, I attached the covers to hide these screws. This was easy enough. Then I attached the underneath mechanics. As I looked at this part, I realised that the armrests have little holes on the plate on the bottom that affix it to the chair base underneath, so that you can move them further away or closer to your body. And here I noticed that it looked like the armrest had been forced down inside the holes, maybe due to weight or something pressing on it. This did cause some scrapes on the insides and around those holes, chipping off the black paint to reveal the steel underneath. I loosened the screws though and replaced the arm to where it looked like it should have been, and to be honest, it wasn't that bad because you couldn't really see the damages obviously because it was hidden by the screws, but it's still damage to report. Underneath, I put on some felt washers before attaching the mechanics to the underneath of the chair. This was pretty simple with no hiccups at all. The wheels were also a little difficult to push in, but this is something I see on most chairs. It's kind of awkward because you can't get your hand flat on the wheel to push due to that cut-out shape and the fact that it moves so much. Then I lifted the chair onto the piston, and I found the chair lighter than I expected, but it wasn't easy doing it on my own, and I did have to ask for help, so I would recommend that this is a two-person job ideally. Finally, I added the cushions, which was easy enough, threading them through the back of the chair and attaching them via these little clips. I did notice that the suede feel felt stuff on the side appeared to be scuffed by something. No matter how hard you rubbed it or in any direction that you rubbed it, it always kind of looked raised. So a bit of a visual imperfection there. In all, this chair took me about 40 minutes to put together, which is, you know, I think my average, to be honest. I know that it may have come across like I had an absolute nightmare with this putting it together, but I can assure you it wasn't as bad as it sounded. I wanted to outline the issues, of course, that I had for you, but most of them were fleeting or easily resolved, and once the Armour S Royal chair was built, it was definitely worth it. This chair looks and feels fantastic. The details of the felt makes this chair instantly feel comforting, and the quality transfers over to the head and backrest too, which are also this soft suede-like material. Whilst we're on the subject of textures, the breathable PVC leather that runs all over the chair is really textured in itself, and it feels really high-end. Nothing like the usual shiny pleather you can see on some of the other chairs. The shape of this chair is really comfortable too, because it kind of hugs your body and is contoured very well for a small to medium frame like myself. Without the pillows, you do get a totally different feel and position than with the pillows, as they're quite thick and it makes the contact points with the actual backrest minimal. I really must stress though, being a pillow person, these pillows really impress me. They're really soft and really supportive, and as I said earlier, they are really thick too. The backrest itself is really supportive and comfortable on its own as well though, so if you are a no pillows kind of person, then you will be fine with this too. As mentioned just now, due to the contour of this chair, you may find if you are of a slightly larger disposition, then this shape may not be very comfortable, as the curves on the seat of the chair, for instance, could dig into your legs or may hug your back a little too tightly. This Armour S Royal is made as a mid-size and has a weight limit of 120 kilograms. But there is the Armour Titan that is made in a larger size, and that accommodates up to 160 kilograms. The seat itself though is really comfy, not too soft though, because that could mean it would kind of sag over time and leave you sat on the frame, for instance. We wouldn't want that, but it is soft enough that it molds your shape almost instantly. It really absorbs your weight evenly. This is most likely due to the high density mold shaping foam, as Cougar themselves like to call it. I felt no pressure points, aches or pains in this chair even after hours of use. Detail wise, the stitching is lush and gold. It really does create a royal feel, as well as that embroidered logo at the top of the headrest. The diamond embossed pattern that runs down the backrest and seat also adds to the opulence of this chair. Comfort wise, the only thing that is generic to me is the armrests. They are the usual hard rubber you see on most gaming chairs, maybe slightly more give, but still basically just hard rubber. They are also textured for extra grip. Even though there is a lot of plastic here, there is also a lot of metal, and it doesn't lose that premium feel, and with a steel frame it feels really sturdy. There's no rock or wobble in any position. Moving on to usability, now we have 3 action points on the armrest. The button at the front of the armrest moves the armrest backwards and forwards. Nice and smooth, no issues here. The rectangle button underneath on the inside of the armrest controls the in and outward motion or sideways movement. This is however pretty stiff, and it isn't really easy to do, which is a little bit annoying, and probably the only thing I would say that lets the build quality down of the chair. The third is the lever on the outside of the armrest that allows you to move it up and down. This again, smooth, nice and easy. Moving down on the right hand side of the chair, we have the reclining lever. With this particular lever, you are not restricted to fixed steps when reclining your chair, and if you fancied a nap on the job, well, you can. With 180 degrees of reclining, again, there is no wobble or anything, even at full recline, even though I kind of always feel nervous doing it. Moving down again, you have the piston-driven lift height adjustment paddle pointing towards the back of the chair, and I personally prefer this as it's more of an instinctual thing for me, because my own chair has the lift paddle this way round too. It's really easy to get to with that nice big paddle, and it's really smooth to operate. Underneath the chair, we have the adjustable tilting resistance knob. By turning this knob located under the chair, you can adjust the behaviour and control the level of resistance you would like from your tilt. As we are going down to the floor, the final thing I will touch on is the wheels. They are really easy to whiz around the room with. They are smooth and fast, and you could even use one leg to push this chair around if you wanted to, and that's a pretty big feat since we live in an old converted mill here with uneven floors and a short pole carpet. So there you have it, all the main facts, features and design elements. But if you want to know more about this item or any reviewed here on Kit Guru, including the Armour S Royal today, make sure you head over to kitguru.net for the full list of specifications. All in all, my conclusion is this: Yes, okay, the build wasn't the smoothest, but the outcome was more than worth the price. This chair kind of had it all for me personally, and it beats my own chair, the MSI Mag CH110, hands down, in terms of the amount of effort that's gone into the design, the materials and textures, as well as of course the comfort. I can't stress how nice this is to sit in. Well, let me know what you think down in the comments, and while you're there, hit that sub button, ring that bell, and like this video. Don't forget our merch down below either. I'm Christina, this is Kit Guru, and I'll see you next time.